Yes, which was pretty awesome. Some of them were
Off the top of my head, compared.
You are now listening to the Voices of Dubai.
You're listening
Watching The Voices of Dubai with Joe Hage.
This is the Voices of Dubai.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the Voices of Dubai. I'm very excited about today's guest. We have the actor and voiceover talent, Ghanem. Ram, thank you so much for joining me today.
Pleasure, Joe.
How are you, man?
I'm doing all right.
Good?
Yes.
So how do you deal with Dubai traffic? Let's just start with that.
You know, this is one of the issues. You could never know how Dubai traffic is. And not Dubai traffic necessarily, just getting out of Sharjah.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And getting into it after rush hour as well.
Oh, goodness me. Like this from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., then from 9 a.m. to 11. And then, of course, from 3 to 6, but then from 8 to 9, but then. So it's quite confusing. And it's like it has its own emotions and feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually funny because I saw a LinkedIn post about the 5 reasons not to live in Dubai. And one of them was, do not live in Dubai if you cannot deal with traffic. That was one of them. And it's legit when you think about it.
The only place I think where there's actual traffic is in Barsha. Like Barsha, Al Quoz, maybe Business Bay on a good weekend. But Jumeirah, of course. But other than that, there's not a lot of traffic in a lot of the places in Dubai.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True. So Ram, I'd love to start this episode with a bit of background about yourself
Yes.
before we get into the fascinating world of voices.
Fascinating world of voices. Well, I'm an actor, voice actor, and I sometimes, part-time, I do casting directing and voice directing, sometimes.
Okay.
I'm new to voice directing, actually. I wouldn't even want to claim that title yet, as I'm venturing more into it. But I'm mostly an actor and voice actor, freelancing, of course, in the country here. I started in 2018, and I got into it with basically my good friend. Her name is Marilu Pagoni.
Okay.
Yeah, she got me into this business, and she was like, "Yeah, I think you do amazing emotions, and like you have this weird faces that you make, and your voice, of course, it's quite unique." And I was like, "Okay." Then she was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, I'm interested." And she was like, "Yeah, you have to go on Mix Fame. You know, you have to get some acting here, coaching here, and doing some unpaid work with short film students." So she started teaching me all of that, and I started with that period, and I did an acting coaching, I think, yes, with Jacques Brown, and in his class, that was like somewhere between 2018 and 19. I did like 6-8 months with him.
Nice.
I met Emma Brain.
Emma Brain, okay.
The infamous lady. And she basically found my voice to be very interesting, and she thought it's something as deep as James Earl Jones, and I was like, yeah. So whenever I go to the session, she'd always say, or like there's new people here, and they'd be like, "Yeah, that's James Earl Jones, that's Morgan Freeman." I'd be like, God. Then she was like, "Are you interested in voice acting or in voiceover in general?" And that hit it, you know, basically. Nice. I consider Emma as my mentor. She taught me a lot about voice acting, everything about voice acting, which companies to send my demo to, what is a demo reel, how to do this, how to do that, pacing, tone, pitch. I mean, legalities, rates, all this stuff.
That's great. I mean, that's a very unique position to be in.
Yes.
Because, I mean, someone like Emma Brain has a lot of experience in this industry and a lot of knowledge in media in general. And we're most probably going to have her in some season of The Voices of Dubai.
I hope so.
But to have a mentor like that start with you and guide you along the way, I feel like it's something like really valuable.
Yes, very much. And like she's been my mentor for almost all this time. Like whenever I had questions about voiceover, like if I got a audition, for example, for a sample, I'd be like, "Hey, what do you think I should do in this?" And she starts telling me, "Okay, yeah, you need to sound like this. You need to sell it that way. You need to do this. Focus on the hero of the product. imagine yourself doing this, talking to this person. And of course, when it comes to rates, I didn't know anything about it. But she told me, this is very important for all of whom are starting voice acting, to keep it humble. You know, don't fly with the rates. Because who are you? Who am I? Nobody. Even if I have a very unique voice, still I have to stay humble, you know, within my limits. So usually most of the time, I was so humble, I would sometimes sell them for free.
But just to get started, to get a couple of samples.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it kind of just basically, I rejection, of course, we're going to talk about rejection, but coming forward later. But it basically a lot of rejection, and probably because I wasn't still good at it. But at some point in 2021, that's where I booked my first gig.
Awesome. And speaking of which, what was your first voiceover session?
It was, like I said, back in 2021, late 2021, and it was for Nissan Pathfinder. At the time, the new 2022 Nissan Pathfinder. And it was a commercial made in Saudi Arabia.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did they ask for a Saudi dialect for that project, or was it classical Arabic?
It was, I mean, I did try to do Saudi Arabic, but it did not work initially. Then I focused on, basically, I told them, hey, can I do it just in Arabic? And they were like, yeah, just do it in modern standard Arabic. And I was like, cool. And I did it, and it's flawless. Looking back at it now, after it's many years that have just passed, like 3 years, I think I can do better than what I used to do.
Yeah.
I think I can do much more better than what it is. But I think it's just basically looking back at it. I mean, I just basically did a lot of things. And yeah.
And don't you think that's actually a great sign? When you listen to some demos that you've done, I know for myself, you know, when I listen back to stuff I've recorded in 2015, I get that cringe moment, you know, like, wow, that was horrible.
I know.
And with all the experience that you built throughout the years, courses you've invested in, mentors, the practice that you've done, you listen back to those old recordings and you're like, wow, like I would sound very different if I did it right now.
Yeah.
It's interesting how
it's
that
very
happens.
interesting. As you progress down this road, in any profession actually, it doesn't matter in voiceover. And looking back at what you did and the decisions you've made, you kind of cringe out a bit, you know, like, I could have finished this in like 10 minutes. Why did it take an hour? Or why did I sound like a lunatic when I could sound like a professional corporate voice? And all in all, it just, as we progress, we just, if we look back to the past, just remember the true lessons, what we've learned, and just move on and don't linger too much in that area and make it affect you.
Which makes me think of the next question I have for you. We deal as professional voiceover talent. You know, this industry is ruthless.
Yeah.
We send our voices, we send multiple auditions to multiple studios, and a lot of the auditions don't actually pan out into actual jobs. How did you handle rejection? How did you handle, you know, recording so many auditions, sending so many auditions, and never hearing back from the producers or hearing back with a no?
Very interesting. Rejection is literally a limb part of this industry. And not just in voiceover, it's in all, basically in all sides, even working behind the camera or behind the studio, you get a lot of rejection. And even in the world itself. But in voiceover, you get it a lot. And in acting, you get it a lot as an actor or voice actor. When I first began applying for those, when I first began applying to those gigs and I got rejected, first of all, I used to apply to one gig and I thought to myself that I have to wait. So what I do usually is just apply and wait. And no, like actually not apply to anything else. Wait.
Yeah, I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I just sit there, there's opportunities flying by, many voiceover gigs passing by.
And you're waiting, praying for a session.
And I'm just like, and I'd be like, after 3 weeks, or a couple of weeks, I just decide like, hey, I want to check up on these guys. I'd be like, hey, so, yes, what happened?
We recorded.
we recorded, we finished, we sold, and and I was like, okay. Then, of course, you get this massive surge of disappointment and sadness, but it's just literally the first couple of times, and then it wavers. The funniest one that I had, or I applied to, and this is a side rejection, it actually pissed me off. This is probably the only gig that pissed me off.
How so?
I tell you. They needed a deep voice, an actor with a very deep voice. Here I am applying to this gig, and I did such a beautiful audition. I don't remember it precisely. It was something corporate, and they said it was beautiful. I'd be like, okay. So a couple of days pass, and I'd be like, so just out of curiosity, how are we? Any updates? And they were like, yeah, you were not selected, unfortunately. The client decided to move with the women.
Okay.
No. See, I have no problem with women. But you're telling me you chose a guy with the deepest voice in the country. Deepest voice, I want that, down there. To a woman. I mean, come on, the pitch level is wide. What happened to this client? How did he think like that? It really got me pissed off. Like, if a guy with a high-pitched sub-tenor, be like, okay. Good luck to him.
Yeah.
Understandable.
But that was a big difference in pitch.
Wide difference
Yeah.
from low bass to soprano.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did they decide?
How long was that ago?
About not very long ago, actually, like about a year.
Okay.
It was very close.
And what ended up like happening after that for you? Like, how did you handle that?
I was really pissed, honestly. It was also a surge of applying to many things as well and getting rejected on both fronts. And just basically it got me to like, am I bad? Am I not doing good? And I'm doubting myself. All the training that I've done, all the coaching. Of course, I didn't only do with Jacques Brown and Emma Brain. I did loads as well. But still, like, what am I missing? I don't know what I'm missing here. It got me doubting.
Of course.
For sure. One issue that I had was also not an issue. It's really just a curse. I call it the K curse.
Okay, what's
So,
that?
KK from Mango Jam.
Okay.
I believe you know her.
Yeah, I do.
I
love you, KK.
We love you, KK. Wallah lazim, we love you. But we have some sort of a little curse going on with us. Basically, I'm on the 10th streak of rejection with her. I never booked anything with this lady ever.
Yeah.
I never booked anything. I want to break this curse so bad. So I'm always we have really great discussions and talks here and there, but I wish this little curse actually breaks.
It will. It will. And it's funny you mentioned that, Ram, because that's self-doubt is definitely something I can relate to, and I know a lot of voiceover talent that can also relate to. And no matter how experienced you are, no matter how many jobs, how many sessions, how many clients you've recorded for, self-doubt at one point will always creep back in.
Yeah.
And for me, it was really about like how to handle that self-doubt, you know? For me, something that worked is to keep reminding myself of all the good stuff I've done. But as humans, we tend to focus on the negative stuff.
Negative things, indeed.
What's good, you know, is that as I started writing, I started to write like 2 years ago, a list of clients that I've voiced for. And as soon as I got to like bullet point number 10, I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I never even thought that I'd be voicing for these clients.
I recently had this experience, just barely a week ago, like as we were preparing for this. I decided to do my voice acting resume. And I felt like I had 4 or 5 gigs when I truly had like 20-ish, 25 gigs that I've done all together, from film to film narration, documentary, commercials, corporate. Perhaps it's like, since when? Where?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah.
When did I do it? So it really, I was like, wait a minute, am I considered a professional?
Yeah.
So after doing all of that, of course, professional voice actor is when you get paid doing this job. You can start calling yourself a professional. But in my humble opinion, I think like at least 5, 6, 7 gigs on the way, I can trust that, yes, you are a professional. You're doing stuff, you know. Yeah.
So you mentioned Emma Brain and another person as mentors. And you also mentioned that you also invested in other courses and stuff. Can you tell us more about this?
Yes. So I mainly, because I now I'm in a phase. I finished learning acting pretty much, but now I've reached a point where I think I'm ready to dive into voice acting. In order for me to do voice acting, I must be good at what? Acting. So I took classes like on-screen acting and everything about acting with Elsa Potier.
Okay.
She is a French-Canadian actress. She was based in the UAE, but she traveled to France almost a year ago. But I was her student almost for another year and a half. She taught like really well. She was like, I think she's one of the most fantastic acting coaches I've found so far. Then I was focusing a little bit on workshops. So I did workshops with Leo, a couple of workshops with Leo. I did a couple of Leo Wong, of course.
Okay.
Then a couple of workshops with Faiz Qazaq. He's a very well-known Syrian actor.
Okay.
A star, actually, a celebrity. He had a workshop here. I also have his phone number. It's so fun to have his phone number.
And what was exactly included in that workshop? Like, what would you do?
In Faiz Qazaq's workshop, it was acting on stage. So I was learning theatrical performances, and I did a theatrical performance there, and it was really fun. It was really cool. And learning with Faiz was literally a very fantastic experience. I mean, he basically has no care at all to what you think, you feel, or what he sees something, he wants that something to happen, and he would tell you exactly and precisely to the point where he does it, and he says the same. And he tries to challenge you to get those acting emotions and feelings out.
Nice.
And he's just fantastic. I wish if it wasn't just a week. I wish it was like 10 weeks or something.
He sounds like someone who had a very clear vision of what he wanted to achieve and gave good feedback for direction.
Absolutely. I mean, he's like a professor, like in the fine arts, College of Fine Arts in Syria. So he's technically, it's his thing. He's been doing it for many years.
Yeah.
So he's a legend.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Ram, after that session for Nissan Pathfinder, how did you see the progression in the number of jobs that you were getting, your performance, and the skills along the way that you've acquired? How did that progression happen?
So after Nissan, it kind of, in general, if I was to look at it from 2022 till now, it has been a domino effect. Most recently was last year.
Okay.
Or basically the most traffic I've got was last year. Last year, the first couple of months of 2023, I got loads of work, or actually loads of opportunities to apply. And from those, of course, I did some, but the majority, of course, were rejected. But still, that sum is, I'm satisfied with it. I think about 5-6 gigs I've done in the first half of 2023.
Nice.
Maybe even the first quarter. But it was so crazy from going from one single gig in, like, I'll get to the point on how and why like I have 5-6 years experience in this, but I only began doing work, actual work, and getting paid for it for only the past 3 years. I'll explain that in a minute. But mostly, when I got to that point, my name and my voice has been spread around with all basically all the studios. I'm getting contacted by people that I don't know either, and I never remember like even applying to them. And it's very, very interesting, and it's like, you know, it's finally relieving to myself, like, hey, finally, you know, there are people in the industry who know me, who've heard my voice.
Word of mouth from other people.
Most probably, yes. Like, and it's so relieving, you know, because initially one of the most difficulties I've had in the beginning was business. After all, voice acting or acting, 80% of it is what? Business. The other 20 is just basically your talent. So that much, this 80%, you need to know how to market yourself. You need to brand yourself. You need to reach out to those businesses, production houses, studios, agents. In Dubai, or basically in the UAE, even in the MENA region, we have no such thing as representation.
Or unions.
Or unions, very unfortunately. But we do have casting agencies, and those casting agencies, they don't necessarily represent. They just simply take as much, or if they find it, as many actors and put it on a database, and whenever a production company contacts them, they'll be like, yeah, we got this many amount of actors. Go ahead and pick your some. I don't want to...
With a Sean Connery action.
Yeah, of course. I don't want to go down the dark humor path. Let's keep it safe for work. Anyhow, so there's no such thing as representation here. So it's literally connections. It's very important for you as a voice actor to be very well connected.
Absolutely.
And because my name has been spreading, I'm starting to get more work, a bit more recognized with my voice, to the point where I really don't see a lot of competition in the low bass part of my voice. There isn't a lot of bassists here in the country. I know there's a few. I know there's a few, like 3, 4, countable by the fingers, but not that many. So yeah, it's not very competitive for us.
Well, it made me think of another question.
Yes.
And that's something I talk about in my post and on LinkedIn and stuff. People have this misconception about the voiceover industry, and they think, oh, it's easy money, right? Or all you need is a golden voice or a very deep movie trailer voice. In your experience, having the deep voice that you have, is that enough for success in the voiceover industry?
No, absolutely not. I can tell you I've met many people with beautiful voices. I think they could be the stars of this world. I truly, the amount of people that I hear, and I like, even sometimes online when I'm doing little practices with people, I do a lot of practices online as well, on Discord and stuff. There's amazing people with amazing voices, and even vocal range and vocal modulate and all this stuff. They're fantastic. But still, there are many key things and very important things when it comes to voice acting, for example, and even being a voiceover artist. You need to understand what you're doing. You need to feel what you're doing. You need to imagine. If you don't have an imagination, if you don't have an understanding of the script that's in front of you, how can you perform? How can you deliver? You may have a Ariana Grande type of voice or Morgan Freeman type of voice, but if you don't know how to deliver, what's the point?
And beautifully said. That was beautifully said. Yeah. So what would you recommend based on your experience, based on your path, based on all the work you've done in yourself and all the investments you've made for yourself, like different coaching, different crash courses. What would you tell someone who has a great voice and is interested in joining the voiceover industry?
Get coached. Get coached first. Take the first 6 months to a year time to, this is where I bring up this, I said I would bring it up later.
Yeah.
When it comes to quality. The reason why I began taking gigs for the past 3 years is because I was perfecting my ability, my performance in acting. So also in voiceover. So because I can't enter something without knowing what the hell it is and how to do it. I need to know. There are many things in voiceover and in acting that I need to know before I enter this field. I can't just go in without understanding. As much as I love it, I have to respect that. So if you want to get into this field, consider, there are two paths, of course. There's the hobby part and there's the career path. If you're going down the career path, that means you've got money to invest and you want to invest. Then go ahead, get coaching. 3 coaches you need to do: improv coaching, acting coaching, and voiceover or voice acting coaching. You need to find a voice acting coach, an acting coach, and an improv coach if you want to do voice acting. If you want to do just commercials, corporate, and all this stuff, trailer, a voiceover coach will be enough, and maybe an acting coach is also good enough.
Yeah, I love that you pointed that out, by the way. Voice acting and voiceover recordings are 2 very different beasts.
There are 2 different beasts. One is voiceover, the other is voice under. Sometimes they mix and mash, but they're not the same. They're not the same.
So in what ways, since you've gone through that path, in what ways has your career and investment in the acting industry helped with your voiceover career?
Just basically the way I understand, the way I imagine, the way I envision. I become my own director, mini director, not too much, not to the point where I actually overtake the actual director. So it's just enough that I can put my mind and his mind, they're like connected. I understand what he wants. When he's telling you or she's telling you they want something like this, you know what they mean. There's a reason behind it. Not because they said it and that's what they want. No, there's a reason behind that need. So you need to understand what that is. And through the script in front of you, you have to script analyze. You have to dissect the script. Who, whom, why is this character speaking to this character, and what is the reason? The more you understand and the more backstory you have of the character, the more you can deliver. Many people say, yeah, I'll memorize it. Yeah, give me, I'll memorize it. Okay, وبعدين? What next? You need to understand what you're reading and memorizing. You know, the moment you do actually understand and imagine and take all the time you need to have this scene in your head, memorizing would be so simple. And sometimes when you do some kind of improv within the scene, not changing the script too much, you actually produce something really beautiful. And most of the time when I do that, I get wows on set.
We're talking about acting here.
Acting.
Yeah.
Also in voice acting.
Yeah.
Because it's even twice as difficult in voice acting than acting because there's no picture.
Yeah.
So.
And most of the time, we don't have visuals.
Exactly.
And I was talking to Joe Mohan. Was the episode with Joe Mohan.
Yeah.
We were saying that, you know, it's funny because we go to different studios, we record for different clients, different sessions.
Yeah.
Some of them, you only send your voice. You only hear yourself, okay? You don't have a visual reference. You don't have a backing track, like music playing in the background. You have the creative's brief, of course. Like, imagine yourself in the desert, in the Gobi Desert, and you're really thirsty. You know, they give you some kind of brief.
Yeah.
And you'd have to follow that. And like you said, imagine it, envision it, and put yourself in the character.
As much
really
as you
feel
could.
it.
Yes, as much as you could. And speaking of Joe, I recently did, it's for Dubai government. It was Taqdeer, I think it was called. Yeah,
Okay.
Taqdeer.
Yeah.
So I did a commercial for them and a bunch of commercials actually. And Joe was doing the live event. So I was like, yeah, I did this. And he was like, were you in the event? I was like, no, I was not. He was like, oh, I thought you were there and I did not see you and say hi to you. I was like, no, I just did it. But you basically were existed. It was a fun project.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes, it's really important when it comes to understanding the script, getting yourself in that spirit, in that physical, even you could say spiritual mindset of you being in a desert, you're thirsty. The more things, you by yourself, you start speaking like, oh, I'm in a desert, so my voice could be possibly like breathy, indirect. There's a lot of this type of, no, because I'm thirsty. So all in all, you start creating those things in your head as you go along because you're referencing a Sahara, like a desert, and you're thirsty and it's too hot. So you start making those voices in voice acting and you're getting this character to life, you know, instead of just, yeah, it's too hot, yeah. No.
Not feeling it.
Not feeling it.
And just, just reading barely.
It's just reading at this point. You're reading. Yeah, and you're gonna look like a fool, and the director's gonna look like a fool for choosing you. So just understand the script.
Speaking of characters, Ram, you sent me a demo a couple of days ago.
Yes.
And it's funny because I could tell immediately from the demo
Yes.
your love for video games, or
Absolutely.
maybe you have a hobby or a passion for that. But I could tell, you know, you sent me a demo with multiple characters.
Yes.
And from what I could hear, based on my experience, my perception, I could hear different characters from different video games. Where do you get your inspiration from?
First of all, like I said, now I'm in the phase of getting into voice acting professionally. I want to seek representation outside the UAE or MENA region. So if I want to go there, I have to have a proper character demo reel or a proper video game demo reel or animation. There's the three of them could be branched out, and there's a little difference between each one of them. I don't want to get to it because we'll have like 2 hours talk here. Any case, it's just, you know, in general, when just me being me, I like to do some crazy funny noises. Really, I don't want to sound like this NPC character, like you know, these little TikToks.
Yeah.
The main character vibe. No. That's not what I mean. I just like to create characters with my voice. There's this very interesting website, actually YouTube video. There's this guy where he teaches you how to make hundreds of voices. There are certain words in voice acting that we need to know. Direct, indirect, breathy, nasally, throaty, raspy. There are many terms that you could use to try and personify the voice that you're trying to make. So my voice right now is raspy, it's scratchy, and it's deep. But we can go high. We can remove the rasp. There's no more raspiness in my voice. No, there's a little bit. But still, you get the idea.
Yeah.
And
If you drank water, it would be gone.
Absolutely. No. But like, just basically think about what you like when you're creating a character, especially for your demo. Make sure that the first couple of seconds are superior. They're really perfect. They need to be very, very catchy. I think when I sent you this part, I don't know if you can just let the people hear it just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
But like, it's about 10 seconds long, and it's literally just a chieftain doing like motivating the troops to a battle. I'm thinking World of Warcraft. You, on the other hand, you thought it was like Garen from League of Legends.
No, I said Tauren Chieftain, actually.
Oh, you did? Yes,
I said Tauren Chieftain.
Tauren Chieftain,
so World of Warcraft, like legit, you know?
Loktar.
Yeah.
So
Loktar Ogar.
Loktar Ogar. So you basically just I found Warcraft and like orcs and these
Undead.
Tauren and all this stuff. I found it really interesting, and I was like, yeah, I'll do one chieftain type. I had the inspiration for a game, for example, and from the Lord of the Rings, and Fear No Darkness. That's basically when I said that, it was from King Theoden when he was attacking, you know, the army of the evil army, the orcs and whatnot, in the Battle of Gondor. So you take little inspirations from here and there, and you create something. Inspiration. There's a difference between inspiration
And copy.
The inspiration, you got your taste into it. You took some sort of something you liked. Like, I like your podcast, so I'm going to take a taste of what you're doing. I'm going to make something not similar, my own taste, similar but with my own taste. It's quite different. And yeah, like literally everything is different. The voice, the sound, the music, everything is different. But you get the point. That's how you get
Basically, make it your own, make it unique, and by being authentic and true to yourself.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which brings me to my next question.
Yes.
What would be 3 truths that you've learned about the industry so far that you'd like to give out for people who are just starting?
Okay. First of all, you need to understand, is this a career or a hobby? This is not the first truth before we get into the truth. You need to decide, it's a career if it's a hobby. I'm going to go with the people who are going with career, a hobby. So, because it's just a game for them. It's like playing volleyball.
Yeah.
As a career, I would advise, the first one is get coaching. Get coaching, and most importantly, find a coach who would teach you also the business side of voice acting or voiceover in general.
So branding, marketing,
legalities, rates, and all this stuff. Find a coach or mentor who could teach you this stuff, because it's very important. Like I said, 80% of this business is business of the voiceover industry. And the other 20% is your voiceover acting and talent and performance in a studio. But the 80% is just literally business. So this is the first thing. The second thing, understand, imagine, and envision. Those are 3 very important things as a voiceover artist and a voice actor they need to do. It's very important for them to understand this. Because, like I said, if you understand something, you know how to deliver. If you don't, you're going to look like a fool, literally. And it happens a lot. You don't need to memorize in a voiceover script, or in general, in voice acting, you don't need to memorize. There's always a script in front of you, and you're going to be reading. Try to also move. If you're voice acting, try to move and mimic like the characters, like fighting her. Don't just stay there, her. No.
It does help.
It does help a lot. So be free. Act as if you're acting in front of camera. There's a microphone in front of you, of course. You need to know how to position yourself, and try not to touch it as you do those kung fu style things.
Punching the mic in the middle of the session.
Just basically doing this crazy stuff, just do crazy stuff, and you will get the performance that will come out of you will be pure, will be real. You will not sound like you're faking it. I hate fake acting. There's a lot of people and coaches who recommend you to fake act. I don't like it. For me, it doesn't work.
I feel like you can hear it. You can hear someone trying to put on an accent.
Exactly.
Rather than having that accent authentically,
Exactly. That's one thing. And the other thing is, it shows. It shows. Like you're laughing, for example, but your eyes, your face, the laugh itself, it's not authentic.
Yeah.
But if I crack a joke and you laugh, min elbow up from here, from within the heart, then it means like, it's there. I can see it. It's funny. And if you're sad and you're in deep sorrow and you're depressed, you have to feel it. You have to go back. You have to get back to those very dark memories and actually get yourself in this mood. And when you do, you're going to produce something really nice on camera. You're going to be actually proud of yourself looking at it. You produced something that not a lot of people can bring back out of nowhere. So these are the three very important things for the second truth. The third truth, honestly, I don't know where to get another truth for you.
No, it could be just two.
For me, no. The third one is very important. I think just basically invest in yourself as much as you could when it comes to equipment as well. I don't have the privilege, or I wouldn't say the privilege, I would say the ability yet to have my own home studio. I'm reliant on studios as well. Of course, like when I get booked, I usually tell them, I don't have a studio. Are you able to book one? No. Okay. I have one guy, not the best quality, but I can do it there. Okay? Okay. Yeah. But just know it's not the best quality. Okay. And I go and it's shit quality. Be like,
You did give them a disclaimer. It's not the best quality.
It's not the best. That was like really back then. Now, all praise to God. I used to work at Lemonman Films, and they're very kind to allow me to use their studio if there's a gig. And at the same time, I'm working with them from time to time, part-time. Like I'm working as a casting director with them for their upcoming short film.
Nice.
So all in all, it's a symbiosis.
Another proof that business relationships
connections
are very important.
Yeah. You actually take that back. The third truth: be humble. Be humble. If you're talking with a client, don't just be very toxic. I mean, as a casting director myself, I actually did this. It's funny how there are some people who are quite toxic with the way they talk to you, like you're some sort of a peasant.
But what do you mean by toxic exactly? Like
they
talk down to you? Or?
No. For example, I post I could post an advertisement looking for actors. I'm just giving you an example. I don't mention the rates.
Okay, yeah.
They don't say they don't tell you hi, good evening. I can show you all the times that I send to the agents that talk to me, or if I'm applying to one thing, I always start with a good evening, hi, I hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
Always, I hope you're doing well.
Basics, right?
Basic common sense human being. You're supposed to talk with the other person, wish them good luck, or just basically wishing them good health, a good evening, a good morning, a good night, whatever. But at least there's some sort of goodness in your approach.
Sure.
So there was this lady that just was, I'm not going to mention names, of course, but she was really toxic. Like, what are the rates? What? What are the rates? Give me the rate. I was like, send me your headshots first, then let's talk about the rates. Where? Like, there are some certain people, send me the pictures, let me see you. Do you fit the part? Do you fit the role? Do you speak the accent? I was also focusing on the accents. For general American accent. She doesn't speak general. She did not even send me a profile video, actually.
Wow.
And in general.
That's just frustrating, right? People who don't read the brief, number one, and immediately send you questions.
And in a like it just feels like a pushover. You could sound to yourself that it's okay for you, but it's not for us or for anybody. If you sound professional, sound professional. The third truth: sound professional. Be professional. Be professional at this job. And like, for example, there are times when voice actors would, for example, charge studios or clients an entire new session, because they decided to change one word. Lesh, why? It's just one word. Just do it for them. Hey, no, let's do it again. Yeah, it's fine. Let's do this one line. One line. I'm not saying the entire thing.
Yeah.
So that you can get the sounding of the word. So if I change the word, it's not going to sound good on the recording. So you have to do the line again. But just the line.
Yeah.
At least you will build some sort of a relationship with the client. They know. They feel safe when they come to Joe. Like, hey, Joe, he's very helpful. He's guiding us. He's giving us his opinions as well as a talent. As a talent myself, I have my own imagination. I could recommend something that really suits the client because I understand. I'm connecting with them. So all those, following up with the other truths. So just basically all of these harmoniously and just melodically connecting with each other. And I personally think you will have a great name in the market. You're going to succeed just by the word of mouth. You did not even do any direct marketing, sending CDs or USBs or hitting every single studio door to door. Just by the act of being professional.
And it's so funny because while you were talking about that last truth, you reminded me of one of my truths, which was to be generous. And what I meant by that, because there's also, in my opinion, it's a double-edged sword.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Sure, be generous. You know, if, for example, you enter a new session and you record and the client is like, wow, take one, approved. Like, okay, that's great. Let me give you another option, you know, the way I imagine it for the script.
Yes.
And you guys could use it or keep it. And most of the time, not only will they appreciate that initiative that you're given an extra option, they might like your option better than the one that they approved.
Yes, it happens. It happened to me as well.
However, I have to say that it's a double-edged sword because I have been in situations where the client changes multiple words in different scripts. So I would have, let's say, 5 scripts. We record them in one session. Then 2 days later, okay, we changed 2 paragraphs from the script, 3 words from that script, 7 words from here, 2 words from here. Now, if it was 1 word here or there, I would definitely do it for free.
Yes, but
Absolutely.
This is a lot of work.
But that's the thing. Where do you draw the line?
The line is simple. It's really simple. You got me the script, okay? It's 1 page. It's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 10 to 12 lines. And you decided to change 1 line. Okay, it's fine by me. I'll fix that line. But anywhere, if you give me 5, 6, 7 lines that you changed, or you've added 5, 6, 7 more lines, then I will charge you the same rate as just basically a new session.
Fair enough.
Because
what if you had to book
a
studio? What if you had to book a separate studio for you to redo that recording?
Exactly. Like sometimes some clients I used to work with, they wouldn't pay for the studio time. So when I first begun, my journey in 2021 and 2022, I used to pay for studios or basically a studio to rent and just basically record. I used to pay from my own money and they wouldn't. So this is another issue. So I just hoped, by just me being generous, I tell them also I'll pay. Usually voiceover artists or talent don't do this. I will do it because this is my first time working with you. So I just hope they see this professional side of me and contact me again. But they never do that.
And you being generous and
Absolutely.
you investing in yourself as well.
Absolutely. Yes. I think me just letting this client know my kindness, my professionalism, my generosity, as you mentioned, hopefully it sparks some sort of a relationship between each other. And this is very important. There's a line that even the client needs to know. If a couple of words, a sentence, a sentence and a half, I mean. Okay, okay, maybe. But if, like you said, 2-3 paragraphs on this script and 2-3 paragraphs, no, that's an entire works day. There's another hour or another 2 hours to do, depending on how you do it. Yeah.
Awesome. I wanted your thoughts on something that we're seeing coming up everywhere.
Yeah.
AI voices. Are they a threat to us, or it's an opportunity for us human voiceover talent to really step up our game and separate ourselves, stand out in that very competitive market?
AI. AI is like a village. We, voice talent, we're like a village, a tiny village, and there's a big dam, okay? We're here, the dam is blocking this massive lake from flooding us. And of course, the production studios are these little peckers that peck on the studio dam every now and then. They're making those cracks on the wall, and AI is all this water. So currently, what we are in a situation with AI is just studios are pecking on this wall. They're making little cracks here and there. And at some point in time, the wall will fall, and we will all drown.
So are you saying, in other words...
It's not a threat now.
But are you saying that AI will replace human voices?
Will replace human voices, absolutely. Right now, it's speaking. There are no emotions in its voice. You can tell that it is AI. Even on some websites like Casting Call Club and those type of websites where you could apply with audiences, you can actually find some people who are applying with AI. Wow. You could definitely tell because it was like, hey,
really?
Why? They're always up, down. The ending is always the same. It's very monotonic with the performance is very monotonic. You could know immediately. As a human being, you know when to go up, you know when to go up, when you need to go down, and when to go up, down, and when to go down, up. You change the words, the structure, the melody, harmony of the word structure. You change it as you flow.
Yeah, modulation.
Modulation, thank you. So, but AI doesn't understand that yet. So it's always up, down, or down, up. It's never playing around. There's no understanding for the human nuances and human nature. So this is the issue with AI at the moment. It's not. We're aware that it's peckering on us at the moment. Yes, there are some YouTube channels that stopped taking voice actors and they are reliant on AI voiceover. But they're annoying. They're annoying as hell. Have you seen it on YouTube Shorts and TikTok? It's so annoying. But what I'm afraid of is people getting used to it. Yeah. I'm really afraid of people getting used to it. I don't want people to be to getting used to it. Because even I'm falling to it as well. Sometimes I just watch it and I find something very interesting. And the way it's speaking, it's like, wait a minute. No, it's always AI. No.
Yeah.
But true, I finished the entire thing and I'm watching it again.
Yeah.
So AI is half a threat at the moment. It's not. We're aware of it. We're not scared of it just now. But 2 years, 3 years, maybe 5 years from now, God knows.
God knows, huh? At the rate it's evolving. Ram, I want to thank you for your time. And I have
you
one
so
more
much.
question before
Yes.
we wrap this up. What is your definition of a great voiceover talent?
My definition of a great voiceover talent, being professional, basically has a really good acting in general. If you're going to be a great voiceover talent, you need to know acting for sure. It's going to help you loads, actually, in commercial and all other voiceover artist types of work, corporate and documentary narration and so on. And of course, just being on time, unlike me today.
Some things we can't control, like the weather, traffic,
Dubai
traffic in Dubai.
Charges traffic, but still be on time. Of course, if I'm like you booked me for a session, I'll have to deliver. And let's say you need to deliver this at 6 p.m. You need it at 6. Halas, at 6 p.m. I'll get it to you, inshallah. So I have to at 6 p.m. deliver that thing for you, and just be on time, be professional. Just behave yourself. Just don't act rushed and talking to people in a very rude way. And
like those people reaching out to you?
I just ignore
What's the
them.
rate?
Wow, what's the rate? Look, send me your headshot. Where?
What's your name?
Literally, hi, what's the rates? What are the rates? That's what she said. I was like, first of all, good morning.
Yeah, I've met a couple
I
of
hope you're
people
doing
like
well.
that. Easy to say that I've never worked with them.
Yeah. For me, like I said, and also just the ability, that voiceover talent to use his voice on different levels, to appreciate all of his voice range. So if he's, for example, like I said, a bassist, he could go to mid-high baritone, and if he tried to push himself, maybe a subtenor. Same goes with women. And just give me different types of voices. I just create voices every month. You know, think about it. Every month I have to perfect 5 different voices. Literally 5 different voices. Grab a laptop or your computer or your phone, whatever, and just record yourself. Reading different lines, maybe the same line. Hi, my name is Joe Hage, and this is Voices of Dubai. Hi, my name is Joe Hage, and this is Voices of Dubai. Hi, this is Joe Hage, and I'm on Voices of Dubai. Hi, I'm Joe Hage, and I'm Voices of Dubai. So basically, just create different voices, one single line. Try to play with your voice. If you think this is a really cool voice, record it, put it on your computer, you know, and start building up. I think I have over 200 voices. I think. You could have maybe over 200 as well. You know how to perfectly play with your voice. And some people don't. Some people, I don't want to name names, even in the industry here, they have only 1 to 3 types of voices, and you always hear the same thing.
One trick pony.
One trick pony.
And I mean, no judgment after all, no judgment.
It's cool.
But I do agree with you 100% that versatility and knowing how to modulate and play with your pitch
Play with your voice, play with
is
your
very
pitch.
important.
Your acting is on par with perfect. You're professional. And yeah, just to me, that's a perfect voice act. I would wish if there's a lot of those types of people here in the industry as well. It would be much better.
Thank you for sharing, Ram.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Oh, it takes us time to acknowledge all the work you've been doing, and you are doing, and you continue to do.
Thank you.
And clearly, you're someone that loves to invest in yourself.
Yes.
And that's something, you know, that's, for me personally, it's a pillar. You know, investing in myself will eventually make me produce better work
Better quality work.
and deliver more value to the people I work with.
This is very important. Value. Wow. Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Ram.
Thank you so much, Joe.